You heal people, but there's more that you can do for people. I look around, I'm like, who's he talking to? And I look back at him, he goes, yeah, you. He goes, you're going to heal people, but you're going to stop doing it in the body. You're going to do it up here. I always will start it, and then it'll get kind of hard, and then I'll stop. This, I never stopped.
I think about how consistent I am, even in the midst of like chaos and, you know, being humbled to such a degree, and like the things I face, like, dude, why the hell do you keep going? And I'm just like, it's bigger than me, man.
I was that good. I was a really good medic. I made it not just what I did, but it was who I was.
Did you lose yourself?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, honestly, they get so, their identity becomes what they do, and they lose who they are. And then if that's stripped away, what do they got?
I lost everything about who I was and didn't realize that at the same time I was losing my family. The biggest thing, the message I would have for veterans is a lot of them think that they're walking this alone, and they're not, and asking for help is not weakness. That's actually strength. It's better to be wanted than needed. If they need you in your life, you need air, you need food, you need water.
Yeah.
Your wife doesn't need you. She wants you. There's a difference.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bring guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. This podcast is a reminder of what's real. Raw conversations, real emotion, and the kind of human connection that can't be faked. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, it's time to jump on board. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, Mr. Ken O'Hearn. God, get so amped up, baby. Good to have you, man.
Thank you. Awesome to be here.
Yeah, man. Where'd you drive from?
Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, Secret Labs.
Yep.
A lot of science, aliens,
Still
nukes.
got the machine pillboxes out there and everything, and I get more excited than my family does. I'm like, those machine guns used to be right there. They're like, so what? Like, it's cool.
I've always driven by Oak Ridge, but I've never been there. So I don't know what's out there other than that.
25, 30 minutes from like the beginning of Knoxville, but East Knoxville, that's at least 45, 50 minutes.
Well, thank you for getting up early and driving here.
Even though I screwed up on the Pacific Standard Time.
Oh yeah, we had the time change, and yeah, he was here before I was. I was like, oh my God. I figured that as soon as you said it, you asked about what the building was. I was like, oh, he's got to be there. This is the time change.
Well, I just did the typical military thing. Oh, I'm early. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yep. It is what it is, man. Hey, but we've gotten to have some great conversation, as we got set up. So I think we're rolling into this just nice and comfortable and ready to crush it.
Definitely.
So this is our first time meeting in person, but we're both on the board of Operation Headshot, a veteran nonprofit. And so we've interacted, on the webcam.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep,
and
that's it.
Emails and text threads. And, you reached out to me about coming on the show. You've got a cool story, but you also do some great stuff, man. And I was like, Definitely. Hell yeah, let's make it happen. And we made it happen pretty quick. So tell us about what life looks like for you today. First of all, what do you do? Tell the audience that, and what life looks like for you.
Was a paramedic for many, many years after I got out of the military. And I started noticing just the trend of people becoming more aware of trauma, people actually starting to reach out. And so 2015, I was at a men's retreat. Long story short on that one, where I could go in depth, whichever way.
Oh, man. Briefly go in depth. Yeah.
Briefly. Sure. It was a men's retreat for the church I was going to in Gilroy, in California, when I lived out there still. And the guy was doing kind of like a call out, prophetic minister. And he said, you heal people, but there's more that you can do for people. And there's about 300 just about people. And I look around, because I'm about 10 rows back. I look around, I'm like, who's he talking to? And I look back at him, he goes, yeah, you. And I'm like, okay. He goes, you're going to heal people, but you're going to stop doing it in the body. You're going to do it up here. And I was like, never met the man. He's from Alaska, a place where you fly into Anchorage, then you take a biplane, and then you land the biplane in a river. Then you take a canoe up to his church. That's how remote he is.
Yeah. So how the heck does he know about you? And
Yeah,
what you
exactly. So I'm like, okay. So I get back from that, and I told my wife, I'm going to go to school, get my master's degree, and be a therapist. And she stops. She goes, what happened at this men's retreat?
Yeah, like that's a huge shift.
Yeah, you're a paramedic. But I knew she believed in it because when I told her that, after I said, well, this is what happened, she goes, okay. I was like, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
And found Grand Canyon University. They had exactly what I wanted. Clinical mental health, which is like a licensed professional counselor track, not social work or marriage family therapy. Licensed professional counselor, specializing in trauma.
Dang.
And
here you are.
that started in 2015, and I graduated finally in 2023.
Dang. Quite the journey.
Oh, yeah. My wife was very happy when it was done.
Yeah. I mean, because it can be stressful too.
Oh, it was stressful. Just the classes.
So you had to start like basically general ed and work your way through. You hadn't any prior schooling?
I had basically the equivalent to get an AS degree in biology, but I never got it, never got conferred. And so I had some stuff that transferred, but basically, yeah, I was starting from scratch I was like 42.
Dang.
And 2 kids already, full-time job as a medic. My wife was a full-time ER nurse, but she believed in it. She goes, go for it.
It's a sign from God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you had to jump into the fire.
Yep, I had to listen.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of the things that I did, my wife will vouch for this. I'll get teary-eyed with this.
It's okay.
Never complete anything. I always will start it, and then it'll get kind of hard, and then I'll stop. This, I never stopped. I just knew it was for me.
You know, obviously in the military, like you have to see certain things through because like, you got people making you do it, like you got that accountability aspect, right? I mean,
Definitely.
Your name's on that line, so you're committed. But when you have the freedom outside of that to kind of like make your own way, it's easy to get off course.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when I started school right out of the military, like I wanted to do nursing, and then I wanted to go business, and then you wanted to be a physical therapist, and then I got hit by a car. That was my sign, like getting a near death experience, right? That was my sign to set me on a path. And then when I got here, it's just like I think about how consistent I am, even in the midst of like chaos and being humbled to such a degree, and like the things I face, like, dude, why the hell do you keep going? And I'm just like, it's bigger than me, man. And when and you'll just stay with it. And that's how it's cool, because like, I totally get that when you're doing holy work, when it's connected to you spiritually, like you'll do whatever it takes.
Oh yeah.
To see it through. So proud of you for making it happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That's really cool. Well, you've covered what life today looks like. Now we got to take it back to the early days of Ken.
Okay.
Where do you hail from, Ken? Where are you from? Let's talk about experiences in your life in childhood and things that just kind of molded you into who you are today.
Yeah, originally from San Jose, California, born and raised. And
where's that at up there?
San Jose is, we say North Cal, but a lot of people say, no, that's not North Cal. You're not, like, that's like Chico region. Basically Northern California, or in the middle of California. About 90 miles south of, about 90 miles south of San Francisco.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I loved growing up in California during that time. It was great. I was a little punk rocker when I was in junior high, and skateboarder and everything, and loved it. It was great. And then, played soccer. Just grew up. It was a typical middle class upbringing.
Yeah, you get good relationship with your family and stuff like that. You got like siblings and.
Yeah, I have an older sister, and we hated each other. It wasn't until I got deployed that she goes, I really miss Kenny, and I don't know if he's going to come back. And then
now you miss me.
Yeah, now you miss me. And then we came back. Our relationship totally changed.
Yeah, my sister and I always like butted heads, in childhood, and like, just now these days starting to get pretty close, right? I mean, it's just that friction you grow up with. Some siblings are close, some just,
Yeah, I was always the little brother that was bugging her, and then being that we were about 3.5 or 4 years apart, well, she brought her friends over, and if they were cute or anything, I was always trying to hit on them. And she goes, "Will you leave us alone?" And I was like, "Yeah."
See, my sister's like 18 months apart from me, so she'd have her friends over. I did the same thing. Yep. Yeah, I feel you. So just part of childhood.
Yep, part of childhood.
Yep, exactly why my daughter's not having sleepovers, because I know.
Yep.
But that said, what are maybe some very influential parts or things that stick with you that kind of shape your worldview, bridging into the military, right? What was childhood like? And maybe, I don't know, you obviously went through high school and went into the military. Is there anything very significant along that path that kind of set you on your trajectory?
Probably what set me on my trajectory the most, I wasn't, like, my mom always tried to bring me up religious, Catholic. My dad wasn't too fond of religion, but he had his personal reasons, which I respected. And it goes from his childhood, why he was kind of stayed away from church. But he didn't, he let my mom do what she did. My grandmother was a big influence on my life with my mom, as far as morals, ethics, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though I got in a lot of trouble. But I would always choose the right thing.
Yeah.
In the end, but I got in trouble because I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, I feel you, dude. I feel you.
And probably the most influential was going through NDOC. Sergeant that I had,
So going into the military?
Yeah, going to the military was probably the most influential part where it really changed my trajectory.
Well, before we get to that, what led you into the military? Is that something you always wanted to do, or it just...
No, it was basically my dad saying, after I had gotten expelled from high school and then finished up adult ed.
What's that about? Why'd you get expelled?
Oh, I got into a verbal argument with the teacher, and I was 18. And basically the vice principal said, "You know what? We have no obligation to keep you anymore. You're gone."
Teachers crossing lines. I'm just kidding. I'm blaming the teacher.
No, this teacher he was a jerk.
Oh, okay.
He had it out for me from sophomore year, and basically we got into it, and I said some things that I don't want to repeat, and he took it the wrong way, and I really did not mean it the way he said. And next thing I know, I'm going to my next class. I get called out of class, obviously, because he went and complained. And the vice principal said, "No, don't go in my office. I already called your mom. She's on her way here to pick you up."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're done. Yeah, you're done."
That sucks.
Yeah, it did, because it was senior year, and I was like really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to prom.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
I ended up going to prom.
Okay.
But I was like surprised he let me in the door.
Yeah. Worked out. Hell yeah, man. So that was... Obviously, you got expelled and you had a conversation with your father.
Yeah, and I went to, my dad basically said, "Well, you got to get a job or go to school or do something, you know." And so I started working, like, doing, like, labor stuff, that my dad set up for me. Definitely knew I did not want to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I said, "Well, what about the military?" So we started looking at that. And, first place we went to was a Marine recruiter. That was with my mom, and that guy scared my mom off.
Really?
He was Semper Fi through and through.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely Semper Fi, which I loved, though. I actually liked it.
Yeah.
And so then we talked to the Army, and I said, "No, not the Navy. I had no interest in going to the Navy." Even though my dad was a Navy corpsman, I just, no interest in the Navy. And then the Air Force recruiter was right there, and so started talking to him, and my mom's like, "Yeah, I like this."
Yeah, he had like a suit and tie on. I'm just kidding.
He did. He pretty much did. And, so chose the Air Force.
I was Air Force as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I chose the Air Force, and my dad, basically, he's the one who drove me to MEPS the day when I left and everything, you know, so that was kind of cool. And he basically said, you know, I know you're not going to probably go to college. You don't have it in you. And he didn't mean it as an insult. People are going to take it like it was, but he just knew me. He goes, you're not going to go to college, and I can see you jumping from job to job. We got to find something for you that will give you a sense of purpose.
Yeah. And they did.
And they did. My mom hated him for it. And then after, I don't know if she ever came. I never asked her before she died if she ever forgave him for it or not. But I think she did, because it definitely helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. When was this? Back in This
was in 1992.
So you get the MEPS. You obviously going to choose a job or like something you want to go into. So yeah.
Well, the first thing during boot camp, PJs, and they're called TAC P now, I guess.
Yeah.
But combat chores came in.
I think you have all three, don't you? Don't you have PJ, combat control, and TAC P?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because TAC P are the weather guys, I think, right?
Tactical. They call them the airstrikes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know a guy that's ex-TAC P guy, and then combat controller does like the weather, and like they take over like flight lines and stuff.
Yeah.
You got the guys that are like superheroes that save people. Then you got the guys that blow stuff up, and then you got the other guys that blow stuff up with the Army.
And I wanted to do that, and then they had the pass tests that they were doing.
So you went PJ.
That I was going to, but then I didn't get selected that Saturday. All the other guys were going. I was like, why am I not going? And it wasn't until later on when I wanted to cross train that I found out, my ASVAB score was too low.
Oh, okay.
So I never knew that. I didn't know what I got. And so then I was like, well, what can I do? And they're like, we could retake it. And I was like, oh, okay. So retake it. And then there was too many openings in my current job, so I couldn't go. I got out of the military for a short time, and that's how the only way I saw a path to try to go to Special Forces was that way. So I got out, went reserve, trained for like a year, like just doing push-ups, pull-ups, everything I could think of, dropping weight, everything just to get in shape, and then cross-trained over. And then I was able to retake the ASVAB and then went to NDOC.
NDOC. So, and that's for PJ school.
PJ, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Lapland.
Man, quite the journey to get to PJ school.
Yeah, and then had some family relationships after NDOC, had relationship stuff going on, and
you said there was something very influential, like significant about NDOC.
Oh, for NDOC, we were doing like kind of like a round robin. We were talking about stuff, and someone brought up, I don't remember who it was one of my classmates. They said, hey, Sergeant, do you think like, I was like meant to do this, and he was another fellow, because there's PJs, combat control, TAC people, they're all in the same thing until you separate off after NDOC.
Mm-hmm.
And the sergeant was going, that's a good question. If you're meant to do this, let me think about that. So he starts going around the people. He gets to me and he says, and I was senior airman at the time. He goes, senior airman over here, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then he gets back and he looks at me, he goes, you were born to do this.
Damn.
And I was like, yeah. And everyone's like, teacher's pet. Like,
He's like, bitch. Yeah. That's so funny.
And so I think that's why it really sticks me that I never finished going through all the training.
Oh.
Because previous relationship, filed for hardship, got out, cross-trained into another position, basically equivalent to 68 whiskey.
Okay.
Like medic, but not.
Okay.
SOCOM medic.
Okay. Sweet, man. So that was like, dang, how long of a stretch was this time frame?
Over a year.
Oh, so all this stuff happened over a year.
Yeah.
Dang, man. There's a lot of back and forth. Because I know you said you trained for a year. So, like, basically after you did that, you spent some time training that NDOC.
Yep.
To you switching to that job was a year
Yep.
course. What, if you don't mind me asking, like, what do you think, what was the issue with the train? What happened in the training that like was kind of the ending point?
It was a relationship that I was in, and I just had to make a choice: either stay there and suffer with this woman, or get out. And so I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm going back home.
It sucks, because
It did.
the wrong relationships can influence you in the worst ways, But obviously, you're where you're at today.
That's why I'm happy it happened.
Yeah,
So, only part I hate is not being able to don the beret.
yeah,
That's the part that really sticks with me. But if it means giving up what I have now, then I don't care.
exactly right. Hey, it's crazy you say that because like I wanted to cross train in pararescue. I was weapons guy, but I didn't get the option to do it till like 4 years in. Yeah, I was F-22 weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that for 6 years.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. They're
Raptors, right?
yeah, they're like the coolest jet. They're like the jet. You know what I'm saying? I think they always will be, at least for some time. But so I did that, and I wanted to cross train, and I just didn't get the opportunity until like I was 4 years in, and I was like, 6-year enlistment. I was already 1 foot out the door at that point. Just because I was like, I was ready to just go about a new path in life and get out. Just was done with the military at that point. And I'm so glad I did it, but I was ready for a shift. And so, but anyways, like you said, like I'm right where I'm supposed to be in life.
Exactly.
I wouldn't change a single damn thing
Nope.
about my journey because this is where I'm at, and I couldn't be more happy about it. So I feel you there. So obviously there was how much longer were you in the military for?
That was 2000 when I basically dropped, stayed in active reserve for another 2, and then inactive for 1. So 3 more years.
Okay. Any deployments?
I was deployed in 96 to Saudi, and we did some travel time up to Kuwait to Iraq and then back down. And we were doing a base closure. We were part of the base closure team for Riyadh.
Okay.
And because I flew into Daha and then went to Riyadh, and then we were doing base closure.
Yeah.
I can't remember which. Prince Sultan Air Base. That's what it was.
I'm looking at it. I'm hearing your journey. You were in that relationship. Obviously, that came to a close at some point. Was this while you're in, or after you got out, or?
It was while I was still in.
Okay.
And then asked to drop. Basically it was going through the pipeline, so I dropped it, and they're like, well, we're not going to let you out. Like, you still got time left in your service agreement. What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, what can I do? They're like, well, if you stay with the medical side, we have medical service technician, which is basically Air Force equivalent, to a medic.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you can do that. I'm like, okay. So I went and did that.
Nice, man. And you got out when?
I got out, finished that up in March of 2000. Yeah, March of 2000, I believe.
Oh, and then you dropped into the next part of your journey.
Yep.
So, get out of the military. What year is this when you get out?
Out 2000.
2000. So what was the next part of it, man? It takes to that. Did you stay in California or?
Stayed in California and started wanting to go to nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
And got a job as a paramedic for AMR, American Medical Response there. And fell in love with it. I said, hey, you know what? I'm not saving, people from IEDs, but I'm definitely making a difference. And I love the medicine. I was even asked my wife now, I'm a nerd about it still. Love the medicine, love figuring out puzzles. Like, why are you feeling this way? What's going on?
Yeah.
And just dove into it and said, okay, well, if I can't do it for the military, I'll do it for civilian side as best as I can.
I'm trying to see, like, when did it shift from being like purpose to pressure? Was there a time that did that? Like, you felt like it was more of a passion thing till like it eventually became more pressure to be in the service?
That's a good question. I never felt pressure in the military. It was more the family issues that started. That was the pressure I was feeling. I needed to get away from the person I was with, and felt a longing. I guess that was the pressure. I just wanted to be home.
Yeah.
And the military I loved the military lifestyle. Just hated being with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. And you want to be home, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
My mom wanted me back home.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be in the military today with having a family. I just couldn't do it.
No.
Like, I want to be here with them. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. So like, that's totally understandable. Now back to the medic thing. You were enjoying that part.
Yes.
So you're all in on that.
Oh, absolutely loved it. Just nerded out on it. Loved the medical side. I mean, even to the point where when I was in medic school, if the teacher called out, he would leave a message saying, "Hey, you know what? Just have Ken teach the class." And I'm like, I'm the student. Like, why am I? But that's how much he trusted me and how much it's a little bit of a flex on my part, but I was that good. I was a really good medic.
Nice, man. Would you say how much of your identity was wrapped up in the medic? Because I see the consistency with being a medic and how much you do love it. Would you say your identity was definitely that?
It was that until later on, which we can get into, that it was too much.
Oh, really?
That's how I identified as a medic. I wasn't identifying as who I was in Christ or who I was as a husband or a father. That was my identity, being a medic.
There's a lot of, like, your ego and pride and everything was tied into that.
Wrapped around it.
And it's good to be passionate about what you do. Like, that's something you love.
Yeah.
But where do you say it becomes a pretty messy line?
Well, I made it not just what I did, but it was who I was.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem started because...
Did you lose yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you see that with, like, athletes. A lot of people, honestly. They get so...
Oh, yeah.
Their identity becomes what they do, and they lose who they are. And then if that's stripped away, what do they got?
Yep.
How long were you in California?
So I was in California until 2020.
And you finished up school here?
Yeah, I finished up school. I was online. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the next part of this?
Probably the next biggest part was when I met my wife.
When did you meet her?
In 2003. Or no, 2002, sorry.
Take us back to that, because, from what I saw, that's been a big impact in your life.
Oh, yeah. I'll tear up again.
Go for it. Trust me, I probably will too, because it'll make me reflect.
So I was working with my buddy, Darren, and we went to the hospital. And right when we walk in the double doors of this hospital, Valley Medical, all of a sudden I see this beautiful blonde just sitting behind the counter.
Yeah.
And she was, and I just remember she looked up, had this, nice little flowing hair coming down like this in a ponytail, but she looked so gorgeous. Big old white teeth, this huge smile, blue eyes. And I was like, who the hell is that? And then what really drew me to her is I saw her look up. She smiled, and then she looked down, and then she looked right back up at me. I'm like, oh, double take. Yeah. I'm like, I saw that.
Yeah. She's into me. Yeah.
I caught that. And the nurses there knew me pretty well because I've been going there for almost 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I walked up to the chargers and I was like, who the heck is that cute new blonde that you guys have working here? And they're all, well, there's two. There's Christy, and they pointed her out. I'm like, no, not her. And they're all, oh, you mean Summer? I'm like, yes, that was her name. And they're like, oh, and so the charge nurse, I go out to the ambulance. I'm doing my paperwork or whatever. And then she walks up and she knocks on the window. I'm like, I roll it down. She goes, yeah, what's up? And she says, oh, and she's single. I'm like, did you ask her? She goes, yeah, I did. She's single. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. And so that was the next 2 weeks was me trying to find her, and she had disappeared all of a sudden. I couldn't find her.
You're like, you sure she's single? Because she just like...
Yeah, all of a sudden she was just gone.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, she had started on the floor as a new grad, and then the next day she left for Shasta, which was her family's trip, which I eventually became part of. They'd go to Shasta for about a week, 7 to 8 days for like houseboating and wakeboarding and all that. And that's where she was. And then the first day she came back, so every patient that I had, they're like, oh, I go to a different hospital. I go to a different. I'm like, no, you're going to Valley Med today, because I wanted to try to find her. And so I made everyone go to this hospital.
just to go see her
just so
again?
I could try to find her.
Oh, damn. Well, I know that a lot of this like identity stuff, losing yourself, right, had a part of, also had a big impact on your now marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you met your wife, or you didn't know it yet.
Not yet.
You might have known, like, I'm going to marry this woman. I had that feeling when I met my wife. Y'all met, and so she played a massive impact.
Yeah.
But obviously, your faith and all that stuff's very important, but there was also a breaking point in your identity with the medic work. So I think it'd be important to hit on that breaking point and then dive into some of her influences.
Okay. That was in 2014.
Okay.
So we were at the hospital, and we dropped off our patient, and she was what we call a frequent flyer, someone that we took all the time. If you can't short of a six-pack, she was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And she was yelling at the nurses, yelling at us, which is her MO. That's what she always did.
Yeah.
And there was a young gentleman across the way who was hearing that and thought that everyone was being rude to her, whatever. So I could hear him yelling and grumbling. So I was like, oh, I'm going to see if he's okay. So I pulled back the curtain. I'm like, hey, buddy, are you okay? Do you need a nurse? And he just started going off saying, y'all mean, and saying a bunch of expletives and everything like that. Like, you guys, I'm like, oh, no, buddy, you got the wrong idea. Yeah. I'm like, she's always like that. We're not doing anything. I promise you. And they started getting kind of aggressive towards me. Stood up and he goes, no, man, you cracker ass bitch at you. He was a black kid. And, cracker ass bitch, and it's you, and you guys are doing. I'm like, no, dude, you got the wrong idea. I'm like, sit back down. Yeah. Everything's fine. Took a step towards me. That's when I went offense. And I said, dude, sit back down or you're going to have a really bad day.
Yeah.
Just sit back down. This doesn't concern you. It's none of your business. I promise you, we're not doing anything to her. I promise. Started F you and stupid cracker bit. And I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. I'm done. I start walking away. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is this like Mississippi Uprising or something? Like, what the like we're not doing anything. Someone overheard me say that, misunderstood what I meant. And I walk out the double doors, and all of a sudden my partner yells out, Ken, he's right behind you. And I turn, and he's like this close. So I throw the gurney away from me to clear my area, and I turn around, and I go, really, dude? You really want to do something? You really want to start something? Come on.
Yeah.
Go back to bed.
Yeah.
And I had my hands open like this. I wasn't like up or no postural. Didn't matter. Get pulled in the next day for an investigation. They say I was the aggressor, I was racist, and all that. California.
Yeah.
And within a week, fired.
Damn.
And I'd been there for 14 years. And so the union grieved it and everything, but during that time, I didn't know who I was anymore.
Yeah, and how long had you had your wife been together at this point?
11 years.
11 years?
And so I just remember what happened was I was outside and I was doing some concrete work or whatever, just trying to keep myself busy every day and do stuff around the house, whatever, because I didn't have any other job. And with the firing, no one's going to hire me at that point. And I was like, I just don't understand, God. What are you trying to teach me? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, I didn't deserve this. This is not right. Just doing the poor me. I'm the victim and everything like that. Of course,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was like a voice. I know God doesn't talk to you in your head, but I got this like impression of, you think you became a medic on your own?
Yeah.
Like, you think you did this? Yeah. I stop and I go, is that what this is about? Like my pride? And all of a sudden it just rose. It's like, yeah, you didn't do this. I gave you this gift. So give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it just changed. I was happy. I was like, oh, okay, if I get my job back, cool. If I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
And even my kids noticed a difference. My wife noticed a difference. And I was like, if I get my job back, it was meant to be. If I don't, then I need to move on.
Dang. And did you end up getting the job back?
2.5 years later.
Damn.
It took that long for arbitration and everything.
But you found joy in that time frame. Yeah.
I did find joy in that time frame.
Sort of finding yourself again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I realized I was like, that's not who I was. That's, that's what I did.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty impactful thing because, I mean, when you got back into it, did you reclaim that identity of it though?
No. I was totally changed.
How do you think it, looking back, how would you say when you were in that job before, like getting fired, did you realize you were depressed? How did it affect your marriage and, stuff along that?
Oh, it affected the marriage because I was constantly depressed, unhappy, snappy, bad anger, mad at everything, bad attitude.
And what do you think contributed to that?
I think it was the fact that I didn't realize that I needed to separate the medic from who I was as a father and a husband. And it just I don't know why it just got so wrapped up and twisted. And
would you say there's like some form of like PTS with it? Maybe some of the things you saw or whatever or experienced?
Yeah, I think so.
Because a lot of first responders, I mean, there's a huge, magnifying glass on that now, even more so than it's been more consistent in the veteran community. And now you're starting to see it in first responders.
Yeah, I definitely had thoughts I shouldn't be having.
So all these things all encompassing like your identity, those thoughts, depression, it just affected everything in your life.
Oh, everything. To the point the doctors actually, I wasn't going through the VA, but I went on antidepressants. That made it worse.
Yeah.
That just made me even more
on edge,
nightmares, different things. So I stopped that right away.
Yeah.
I lost everything about who I was and didn't realize that at the same time I was losing my family.
Damn. So, okay, I'm tracking. So being pulled away from it, how you were, was a blessing.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. It's like sometimes these things happen and you don't realize how like you're so pissed off. It seems like something's taken away from yourself because we immediately go into the victim. Like, look what happened to me. This was taken from me. Like, they did me wrong.
Yep.
And obviously further along, you realize how much of a blessing that was. But initially, we don't see it that way.
No.
We're like, man, screw the system, dude. Screw them. They did me wrong. When in reality, it's like, God's like, hey, dude, I'm doing this for you.
Yep.
Because you're not going to do it yourself. I mean, would you have quit your job?
No.
Exactly. And so it could have made all these other things worse. Dude, that's powerful.
Yeah, I just would have brought my family down with me.
What a turning point, man. In that 2.5 year period till you got the job back, right? And so that's where I want to go back to your wife and her influence in your life. And before we kind of circle back, you were talking about being led to Christ.
Yep.
So, take us into that.
So our first date, I asked permission. She said, fine, you can tell the story. I'm like, thank you. So we're sitting there and, I was like, if it felt good, do it type mentality, like whatever. And she definitely was not like that. I started trying to feel out like how far I'm going to be able to get on this first date. And she's kind of looking at me, deer in the headlights, like just watching me. And I could see her kind of moving back away from me a little bit, almost like, what is he?
You're like,
yeah. And I'm trying to go forward. And she's like,
ew.
She goes, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I think you're talking about sex. So maybe I should tell you a couple things. But she always says I say it wrong, but I'm like, no, I remember it because it impressed the hell out of me. She said, first, I'm a virgin. I plan to stay that way until I get married. 2, I'm not going to marry anyone unless they're a Christian and they plan to, basically lead me and lead the family, raise our children in that way. And thank you so much. It's been really nice talking to you. But if that's something that you don't like, well, you can take me home.
Damn, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It impressed me so much. I'm like, that's the woman I want.
bro, not to go too deep into it, but like we talk about expectations, and I've been engaged twice before I met my wife, and in different relationships, and it was just all these things come up down the road in the relationship, and so you find yourself in an argument with somebody that they could have voiced up front, but people don't think it's their place, and that's like one of the best pieces of advice I can give to anybody. I'm not trying to be a counselor or anything, but like, be upfront. Set your expectations day one, open it up, tell people what you're about, give it to them up front.
Oh, that's
that way you're not approaching shit a year later or 2 years later and you're like, well, what am I doing in this relationship? Because you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache. You know what I'm saying? And so like, that's one thing I did with my wife. I was like, listen, straight up, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. Da, 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 da. And like, there's no like, oh, I didn't know this about you. Like that's a no-go. So I massively appreciate that your wife did that, because she had what she wanted. That was her expectation. And she obviously wasn't going to settle for anything less.
Nope.
That's freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and then how did you take it from there? You were like, oh shit.
I was like, okay. So I stuck my hand out and
changing the game plan.
And I stuck my hand out and she's like, okay. And she shook it. I'm all, so you're the last one. Last what? I'm like, the last virgin. And she goes, oh, stop it. No, I'm not. And I'm like, I know, I'm just joking. And I was like, I don't remember the exact words I said, but basically it was along the lines of, I can accept those terms.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. What do you think, so obviously y'all made progress. What do you think she saw in you that you didn't see in yourself?
I think she saw the potential of what I could be, and saw the strengths that I had inside that I hadn't realized yet. Mm. And she knew, because she's not the type to settle. I mean, I was her first real boyfriend too. And she'd already gone to Chico, which is a total party school, then transferred to USC, another party school, major, huge private, USC, everyone knows USC. And maybe kissed one guy ever.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But I always ask her, I'm like, why didn't you ever go? She goes, I didn't care. She goes, I knew what I wanted and I hadn't found it yet.
That's really cool, man.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, wow, you're convicted.
Yeah. And obviously that makes you feel good. You're yeah, well, I am it.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome, man. So you took it serious. You probably started going to church and all that.
She asked, and did you want to come to church? I'm like, yeah, I do.
What was that journey like for you?
It was different because I was used to Roman Catholic, which is stand, sit, kneel, prayer, the Lord is with you and also with you. And saying all the rote stuff. So we went to, it wasn't like Pentecostal or anything. It was a non-denominational Christian church. Wasn't used to the worship music. That was different. I was used to hymns.
Yeah.
Wasn't used to the pastor coming up and actually talking about things that made sense and you actually could apply to life.
Yeah.
I was used to them just doing from a reading to Paul, and then they read it, and then there's like no explanation. You're like, okay, that was great.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, you actually take life lessons from this. She goes, yeah, that's what church is about.
Yeah.
Like applying it to your life. I'm like, oh, never knew that.
Yeah. I think, it is, because there's things that apply to people a couple thousand years ago, but we're a couple thousand years ahead of that. So things have changed quite a bit. Yeah. So you got to make it more applicable to the present day. You mentioned people around you literally like saw that you changed. Mm-hmm. We're asking her what she did to you. Mm-hmm. And definitely. Why do you think that shift was so dramatic in your life?
I think it's because when I started learning like who God actually is and what he expects, I started to try, I'm definitely not there yet, but I've been trying to implement it more into my life. Like treat others as you want them to treat you. The golden rule, like, just do everything, but do it with joy. Like everything you do, you should do it with a smile on your face. You should try to. We don't always succeed. We're human. But I started noticing that, like, when I was on the job, instead of getting pissed off because I'm getting held over and I'm not going to get off shift for 14 hours instead of the 12.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to be the one last person that they see and, we get, Roth, return of spontaneous circulation. Maybe I'll be the one that makes a difference in their life. And okay, I just started having that attitude and being happy to be at work.
So your wife made you, so it wasn't necessarily her, but she inspired you to be a
better person.
Work towards being a godly man.
Yeah.
Embodying that. That's really cool.
And then her dad too, he was like that. I've seen him get angry maybe in 23, 24 years now, maybe 3 times ever, and never bad. Just like to someone else, they probably wouldn't even recognize him being angry, but I would, because I know him.
Yeah. Like, oh, my dad's mad right now.
Yeah.
Just FYI. Yeah.
And he is? Well, he's so nice. I'm like, no, he's pissed.
He's just, it's subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tying it all in, your wife, she led you to Christ. Mm-hmm. She was there for you in your dark seasons.
Yep.
And she was with you through that.
Oh, yeah.
Because she saw that. She saw who you were. She saw past the surface. And that's a powerful thing to be able to do.
Oh, yeah.
To see that in somebody. And it's obviously y'all are married how many years now?
23.
23.
I think I got to cheat.
He's got it written on his arm.
Yeah, 23.
It's a tattoo, yeah. Just gets a new tattoo every year. Like, all right, this many.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain around you with everything you broke.
Man, I want to do an Ironman, really bad. And it's like, the problem is I got that severed hamstring. So my running sucks.
It tightens up on you.
So I limp when I run. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like it just did, because it doesn't engage. Shorter. Like say I did, standing plated, pin loaded leg curls, right? Single leg. I could load up some weight on this. One plate with my right leg. Like it's like I can't get up all the way. It just doesn't activate. So that affects like my running and everything, especially trying to speed up and for some time. So I'm like, I want to figure it out because I definitely want to do one. And when I had the time to train for an Ironman, it's a huge commitment, but my parents do them, and it's like something I want to accomplish too, like keep that torch. That's
pretty cool. Your parents do that.
Yeah. They just did supposedly their last one, but my dad's like, I want to do one on my 65th birthday, and I'm like, you're an animal, Dad, but hell yeah, keep going.
Has he done Hawaiian? And
so because of COVID, they did the World Championship in Utah in St. George a couple years ago, but he did compete in the World Championship.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. We all flew out there and supported that. My mom does. She didn't do that one, but she's done like 6 fulls. My dad's done 8 or 9 fulls, and then between them they've done like 30 halves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're animals. It's really cool, and it hit me a lot different these days than when they first started doing it. But like now I understand it differently based off of just like the grind of life, and then I see this thing that's just like this grind. Just to grind, just to get to this finish line. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, like it speaks to me differently. Like I have to accomplish this now. Cause it's just,
definitely.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Plus there's like a pro Ironman I'm really trying to get on this podcast. So I emailed his team. His name's
cool.
Lionel Sanders. Look him up. He's got a video on YouTube, and I just like heard the first 2 minutes of it. And I'm like, oh, this guy's got me fired up, but he's a ex addict, like bad addict. Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's a pro Ironman, but he talks about like, why he does Ironman and that addiction mentality, and it's like it's so powerful, man. I'm like, I got to get him on, so I sent a big email to his website.
Nice.
He'll get on.
You'll get him.
All right. So before we dive into where you're at today with your profession, you talked about the faith journey, the big impact there, and I think. There's all different spiritual walks, and I'm on mine, but I bring that up because that's the most important thing. You get to a point to where that's the most important part of who you are, because that purpose surpasses here, right? And everything you do here obviously plays an impact, in that way as well. So I find it to be like, I think that spiritual connection, especially this day and age, is the most important thing someone can have, especially with all the things. We don't even know what's coming at us. We don't know what's artificial. We don't know what's that, I think, but strong spirituality, like in your soul, will help you feel when things are right or wrong, when
Definitely.
I think when you're disconnected from that, you won't be able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, your moral compass is not
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think because you have that discernment, like something in you is like, I don't know. And I think so. To me, being honed in spiritually is like, crucial.
No, I agree.
Especially as things degenerate. But that said, where would you say you are right now spiritually?
Spiritually, still working on it, because there's times where, definitely times, and my wife will back me up on this, that I falter.
Yeah.
Definitely stepping up a little bit more with like the kids, showing a little bit more of Christ in me on a daily basis, and not so much the worldly aspect, letting the outside influences like politics and right versus left and all that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like letting that influence me too much and just, take care of what I need to take care of and stop worrying about that as much.
That stuff can consume people, keep them from following their dreams.
Yep.
I mean, trust me, it's easy to get caught up in that noise, especially when you do have a family. You're like, I got to protect them from this, and this. But guess what? I can't do shit about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you got to realize, like, you can't do nothing about a lot of these things. All you can do is take action towards your own life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I try at times, like, reading different books, different pastors, that have like really good, almost like self-help books, but Christian realm. And just, I'll try to implement it sometimes. And then something will happen. And then, you kind of fall off a little bit, and then you go back to it, and then you fall off and you go back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep, my wife said something a long time ago. I can't remember what it was, other than the big thing that I think every woman says. Please comment in the comments below if this is true. Every woman wants a man who's consistent.
Yeah.
They want consistency, because if you think about it, consistency is reliability. I can depend on you. And it's when you have like that volatile temper, or you can't do something, you don't follow through. It's like, well, you're not consistent. I can't depend on you. So I'm going to take over.
Yeah. They know you're always going to show up.
Yeah. That's what they want to, see that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd say that's pretty valid. So maybe we'll see in the comments. Well, I'll make a clip of that, and then we'll just get them to answer it. But I'm sure there's more layers. Obviously, there's more layers to it for sure. But that's extremely important. I think. Hell, I'm not a woman, but I want people in my life that are consistent. You know what I'm saying? So
I found that a lot with my couples therapy that is a reoccurring theme.
Oh, really?
From the women. Like, I just wish he'd be more consistent. I wish he'd be consistent. And it's like, okay, well, explore that more. What do you mean by consistent? Well, I can rely on him all the time, and he's not going to be so volatile. He's not going to be, up one day, down another day. It's like, I want him to be consistent on everything. I'm like, so you want a robot?
Yeah.
Or you want someone who, she goes, no, not a robot, but someone who I can depend on, and I know how they're going to react, and it's not going to be a surprise. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be seasons where you're not in the right place.
Yeah.
I be honest, I told my wife a few weeks ago, I was like, I just feel off. Like, I don't know, like depressed or anything, but I just feel like a lot right now. And like, I was talking with her through it, but I'm also like, having that self-awareness and be like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. Like here, but I'm working through it, but that's like, so maybe I wouldn't say I'm inconsistent, but maybe just my emotions are inconsistent lately, just because I realize I'm off. And so I'm working through it, and I talk about it and voice it, just like, hey, just so you know, but we're human. Those things are going to come. Yeah.
I think that's the important part. What I try to tell, a lot of my patients is being self-aware is one of the hardest things. I'm a big advocate for psychoanalysis, like Carl Jung.
Yeah.
Not so much Freud, but Carl Jung.
Yeah, I like Jung. I like Jung stuff for sure.
And it's only when you bring the subconscious to the conscious will you be able to battle the shadows that you have. And you got to be able to see them.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're doomed to fail.
Oh man, self-awareness is one of the biggest things. That'll change your whole life too.
Oh yeah.
That's like a key. I want to dive more into this stuff. So
yeah.
But before we bridge into this,
okay,
because this goes straight to where you're at today. How did trusting God's steps, how does that play a part in what you do today?
Yeah, God pretty much guides everything that I do, because instead of looking at the person as like a problem to fix or something like that, I try to, and even if they're not Christian, it doesn't matter. You know,
I was going to ask that, like, if they have a different spiritual belief, how do you apply it without like being like, hey, this is, you know what I'm saying?
I can't remember which apostle it was, but one of them taught just like, let them see the Christ in you. And, you know, some people will go, hey, I want to know more about that. So it opens the door to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they just see that you're a genuine person, maybe they still don't ascribe to your beliefs, but they love what they see in you. And then, you know, they want to achieve that more. Like, you know, I want to be more like you, where you're consistent, you're level headed, and you're emotionally regulated, which I have not perfected, but being able to regulate your emotions more and being able to handle situations, take a step back, look at it objectively and say, okay, where can I dive into this? And so God does that a lot. If we look at what Paul teaches a lot, he really pushes or emphasizes, don't trust your emotions, use wisdom and logic. Why? Because God even says you trust that more than rubies and gold. Because your emotions will lie to you. That's from the heart. The heart's deceptive. That's flesh.
Yeah.
You want to use your wisdom and logic, which is more the soul, your essence.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say that too, because I've talked about, obviously I say, you know, I talk to people, I'm like, follow your heart, but some people take that wrong as like that more deceptive thing, but I guess you could say it better, like lead with your soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'll just start using
But I know what you mean by follow your heart. It's like, that's like your intuition. You're like,
maybe the wisdom and logic play a part of that too. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Don't follow those heart earthly desires.
That makes sense.
You get what I'm getting at. Yeah. So you talked about what you do today, but what makes you so passionate about it? Because you help a lot of veterans. Is it specific? Like, do you help veterans specifically, or veteran couples, or just like anyone?
Anyone right now, being a newer counselor, just so I can, you know, or a new therapist, so that way I can get more experience and be more well-rounded.
Yeah.
So I can kind of get a little bit of everything. But my passion is for veterans and first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, medics, EMTs.
Yeah.
Hospital personnel, you know.
You helped save lives in your past role. Now you're doing it in a different way.
Exactly.
What's your perspective on that? Like,
it's watching them get breakthroughs. For instance, you know, definitely not a HIPAA violation. This is one of the guys I had. He was a
I like how you said that.
Apache helicopter mechanic, but like 4 deployments. And because Apaches have very low range, they're usually in forward areas.
Yeah.
So he got mortared, got attacked, ambushed. I mean, everything. So he saw a lot, and he saw crashes and exercise, you know, crashes where pilots died and crew members that he knew.
Yeah.
He came to me, he was broken. I mean, verge of divorce, no interaction with his kids, no, I guess I could say a safe way would be like no sexual encounters with his wife at all. Like just no interest in anything. By the time he was done, he was happy, interacted with his kids, enjoyed his job. He and his wife were enjoying their life on that part. And so I texted maybe a month or 2 ago, hey, how's he doing? And she goes, he's doing great. He's completely off his medications, implements everything you taught him on a daily basis, and our life is great now.
That's really cool. Because, you know, when you save someone's life, like as a medic, you know, pretty much that's it. You don't see them again.
Yeah.
Now you get to see like this change in their life. You see a healing in other ways. You get to see their healing bleed into their family, bleed into their future, and you get to follow up with that. That's got to be pretty badass.
It's really cool, especially when you see them. It's when the one thing that I don't like what some therapists do is they'll actually give you the answer. Well, no, you know, you need, and then it's not real. It's like something given has no meaning.
Yeah.
When I tell them, no, come on, like, you know, come on, Joe, go deeper. What is it that you're thinking about? And then you start saying things. I'm like, no, deeper. Come on, think about it. And all of a sudden they go, is it this? And I'm like, there you go. And you see them go, damn, is that what's going on? I'm like, exactly. And then that's when the change happens.
Oh, yeah, because to get to that, you have to peel back layers.
Oh, yeah.
So if someone gives you the answer, you may have peeled just a couple layers back, but if they give you the answer, then you skip all the other ones that you needed to peel anyways.
Exactly. So there's no self-awareness. They're not really facing, as Jung said, their subconscious. I just told them what it is.
Damn. It's like hacking to, you see the illustration of the guy going to his goal and he's, mining away.
Yep.
And it's like, you can quit or walk away, but you're like, got this much rock to go through. The way I visualize it with how you're putting it is like this person's hacking away and you got this huge stone right there you're trying to get to. Yep. But if someone comes and hands you a smaller, walks up and, hey, here's what you were looking for. It's a smaller stone. You're like, okay, well, I got what I need now.
Yeah.
Then really going for the big goal there. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. It makes sense. And then sometimes when you start doing that with people, because, sorry, YouTube, but I call myself the no bullshit therapist.
Yeah.
And I'll tell people that in the first session. I'm like, look, if you BS me, I'm going to call you out on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let that happen here. This, I want you to be real with me. I want you to tell me what's going on. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to make it nice. Tell me exactly how you feel. Be real.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way we're going to get things done. Veterans tend to be stoic and they hold back. And I usually go after them. I was like, it takes more balls to be honest with yourself than it does to compartmentalize it.
I don't know. We got that old idea of tough and what it is, which is the furthest thing from it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's harder to face your demons. That takes courage and real conviction instead of just ignoring them.
Oh, man. Yeah. I talked about this, actually with my mentor yesterday, and I was like, I'm on this, like, I want to be righteous. I want to live a righteous life, and I want to, like, live that out. And I'm at a place where I'm like, I'm battling myself, and I'm just like, I'm in alignment, but I'm not in alignment. Mm-hmm. I'm doing my best, but could be doing better. It's like all these opposing faces, right? That just, there's like this friction. But I realize that, that path, facing your demons or being righteous or whatever term you want to use, is hard. Like, you actually literally have to be willing to wrestle with yourself at times, but it makes you stronger. It's like training, right? You get better at it and you learn how to, make yourself submit too. So it's interesting you say that because those demons can be tough, man. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's applicable because, sometimes I'll go through months and months just being like, whew, and then, I'm at a place where it's just, there's that conflict right there, but it's good for you too. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what kind of therapies do you do? Dive into like what EMDR is. Like, oh, sure. I understand EMDR, but a lot of people may not understand. Yeah. So the primary thing I use is actually cognitive behavioral, which is the classic trauma go-to. Basically, you have a thought, it creates an emotion, and then the emotion creates basically a behavioral response. Okay. Good or bad. And so that's what you kind of dive in. And so it's basically taking those thoughts captive before they create the emotional response and creates a behavior that you don't want. Yeah. So we start working on those type of things, little exercises to do that. EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Yeah. That one was created by Francine Shapiro. And the story goes, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but the way I heard it was that she was telling a story to somebody and there were birds flying back and forth. And as she was telling this very particular emotional story, she was kind of watching the birds just going back and forth with her eyes, going back and forth like this, kind of like in the nystagmus test. And after she was recounting the story, she noticed that it didn't bother her as much. So she drew a connection, like, what is it with my eyes moving back and forth and the birds and me telling this traumatic story that normally upsets me? What's the connection? And then that's when this is the part where I don't know, how she did some research and started studying it more. And then EMDR was born. That's sick. Yeah. The way it works is when you see something bad you don't like, your brain says, okay, we still have a job to do, a mission to complete, whatever it is.
And so it says, I'm going to lock this right here. I'll deal with that later. The problem is after, you do your after action report or whatever's going on, that's still there. Yeah. You don't do it. And that's why critical incident stress debriefings, CISD, that's why they're so important after, like, let's say a bad call or maybe a mission or an ambush or you're on QRF or something.
Yeah.
You need to do those CISD right after to process and talk about the trauma.
Yeah.
No one ever does.
Yeah.
So it gets locked in place. It just sits there and festers. And basically the best way to describe a frozen memory is like a cut that turns into an infection, turns into an abscess. And then next thing you know, you're having to amputate that part off.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I told you about my childhood stuff. I think we talked about it, what happened to me when I was a kid, right? I thought I voiced it at the retreat thing, but, I was, abused when I was 8 years old, and I never talked about it. And, I got to a point where I'd tell friends and stuff, but people I was close to, I kind of just was like, this is part of my story, it's part of who I am today. It is what it is. But I never faced it until the beginning of this year. I told you about the EVOX therapy that I did. Yeah. And that forced me to face it and basically go back to that little Joe and put my arm around him. And
yes, I remember that.
Yeah. Very emotional, man. It's been so impactful. I think about this often. And but like that was the first time I actually approached it. So you think, I was 8, I'm 35 now. Dude, it goes back to what you're saying. You're having to basically do a surgical intervention to not necessarily rid yourself of this thing because it's there. It's a shadow, right? But it's like a lot of work to walk 8-year-old Joe back through life, because damn, like all of my emotional reactions
are based off of that.
Like I get so pissed at people and get so angry and I want to defend myself and have the last word. Why? Because I didn't then, and it just, all these things make so much sense. And it was like, holy shit, man, I've got to re-gear my entire thought process going through life now. So yeah, it's just like you said, man. So you're able to do that with the EMDR, essentially like unlock that same kind of thing.
Yeah. And EMDR has been great. And then the other modality I use is, reconsolidation of traumatic memories. It's a newer one. The VA signed off on it. I don't want to speak and be wrong.
So RTM?
Yeah, RTM. Okay. But the VA definitely likes it. How that was born, from what I understand from the people that mentored me and trained me in it, is they started using it on the Ukrainian soldiers coming back from the Russian front.
Oh, so it's very new.
And that one is a trip. Really hard. It's kind of hard to describe, but basically EMDR is about being associated in the memory, like you're in it, so that way you can face it. RTM's more about disassociating from it, so that way you separate the emotion from the event. And it was kind of hard for me to grasp on, wait a second, don't you want to be associated? Like you want to be there, but you are. It's basically like replaying the movie in your head.
Yeah.
But instead of being in it in the beginning, you're watching it. Like, okay, I'm watching what happened to little Joe back when he was 8. Okay, I see it. There's a beginning, there's the middle, the bad part, and then the end where I'm safe.
Yeah.
Okay, now you run it again. Keep running it. And you're watching it. Now go backwards. Go from where you were relatively safe back to the beginning before it even started. And you keep running it backwards until the point where it's like black and white. And we do little, basically, checks on you. Like, okay, scale 1 to 10. How was it that time? Oh, it was like a 5. Okay, run it again, Joe. You do it again. Okay, how was it? That was weird. It was like a 3. Okay, run it again, Joe. And then we keep on doing it. It almost gets to the point where people are like, run it again. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, keep going.
I've been here for 5 hours. No, just kidding. Yeah.
No, it's actually a long, it takes the first session can be up to 2 hours.
Dang.
But it's just like EMDR, where one session of RTM is equivalent to about 5 to almost 10 sessions of talk therapy.
Really? That's pretty interesting. I'll have to dive into this more. I'm sure there's some good videos about it.
Oh yeah, RTM's great.
So you've started implementing that as well?
Started implementing that. Just got certified in it. I can't say I'm certified in EMDR because don't have my full LPC license yet.
Yeah.
But even though the letter says EMDR certified.
Okay.
EMDR has so many applications. They're using it for pain control now. Marcus Luttrell, I think he spoke about it. I don't want to, sorry, Marcus, if I'm wrong, but I think he spoke about it. And what he said was that he did that, but he was fine after Lone Survivor. He did therapy for that and everything. You know, he had his depression and everything was going bad for him. A friend of mine who was part of SEAL Team 6 knew Marcus and said that he had a bad time and came out of it. But then what happened was all the pain and everything he went through, all the injuries, was the opiate addiction he had. It wasn't the therapy. He did other things. Like, you know, the other type of treatments you can do, like in Mexico and all that.
Yeah.
He did those things, but I think he did EMDR as well, and that helped him with the pain.
I think I've done EMDR a couple times. I've done the EVOX. I've done other things in other countries. I mean, I've talked about that pretty openly on here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I don't knock that stuff either. I mean, I think.
I'm a firm believer in that therapy.
Really?
Oh, I wish I could do it, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't.
Yeah, I was told that like they're starting to implement more like the psychoactive, you know, substances like psilocybin stuff into therapy a lot more.
Yep, and then,
even into the
Ibogaine,
curriculum, it's going to become a thing too.
There's ayahuasca, ibogaine.
Yeah, I mean obviously psilocybin.
Yep. And the VA actually approved, I think, MDMA.
Really? That's wild. Dang.
In Texas, they actually have it approved statewide to be able to use it as research now.
Dang, that's crazy. And then you also do like, you know, obviously trauma healing, breaking that stoic mindset.
Yep.
On, you know, especially with veterans. And on top of that, you have teaching people to ask for help. Do you want to touch on any of those things?
A lot of the people, when they come to me, they go very surface level at first.
Yeah.
And I just let them like tell their story. What are they dealing with? And then when I see an opening or they say certain things, I'm like, hey, you said this. Go deeper into that. And I could see them shifting. I'm like, relax. Just go into it. You're safe. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And then that's when I usually get them to start to open up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I try to relate it to like, hey, you know, not in combat, but as a civilian medic, I saw probably 10 times as much as most people see in combat because it was daily, 12 hours a day, 60 to 80 hours a week, every day, something. And so I'm like, I can relate. I understand what it's like to see someone die in front of you or not be able to do anything and watching them just exsanguinate and you're like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to, but it's not working, you know? And so I make it relatable and then get them to kind of open up. The biggest thing, the message I would have for veterans is a lot of them think that they're walking this alone, and they're not. There's so many veterans out there, male and female, officer enlisted, who've gone through very similar things, if not exactly the same thing. And a lot of them just like to think that they're isolated, that they're not that they're special in that way, but they're like a special case. Like no one's going to listen to me. No one's going to care. Well, that's not true. I mean,
Yeah.
And they don't have to walk it alone, and asking for help is not weakness. That's actually strength. Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And if you need help, it's okay. You're like, a lot of times what I've found is don't be afraid to face those demons. You're not going to do it alone. If you call a therapist, someone like me who is a veteran or has seen a lot of horrific stuff in their life, or coming onto a podcast like this and talking about it openly with you, that's therapy. I mean, that is a form of therapy. You're talking about it.
Yeah.
You're getting it out. And that's what I just try to tell people is just talk to somebody about it. Talk to your spouse. Yeah, they may not totally relate. Maybe they're not military. But will they shun you? No. Will they call you like a wuss because you're crying? No.
And if they do, there's other issues there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I will say, and I'm not attacking women, but I think that's a lot of thing with men. With men going through stuff is a lot of women don't give them the space to talk about it because they almost maybe frown upon it. Men having those feelings because maybe their dad didn't, right? I've seen it in past relationships. So this is just me talking from experience. My wife has giving
you the space to be able to feel that.
Yeah, that's that was early on, and that impacted me deeply, you know, and I'm so grateful for her. So yeah, that being said, like there obviously goes without saying there's other little factors, right? But you should be able to just talk about it.
Yep.
Like you were saying. So tell me about the Green Beret.
So this guy's been coming to me for over a year now. We've only dove into like one of his stories, and I know there's multiple others, but there's been some relationship stuff going on, so we haven't been able to talk deeply about it because I've been trying to help him with that. But his story, one of his was just, they were somewhere. He couldn't say exactly, he had to be very vague.
Yeah.
But basically, Rangers were creating a perimeter around the building. 4-man team going in, or 3-man team, I think. 3-man team going in the bottom. And he was fast roped in on the top. 3-man. So 6 operators. Yeah. Excuse me. And he was providing rear protection. So the 2 guys went in first, tapped him. He turned, went through the door, closed the door. Next thing you know, he's hit from something in behind, and like left lower flak jacket, just like hit hard and knocked him forward. So he turns and he sees a shadow because they just knocked out the lights. He sees someone trying to rack a pistol, and it was obviously jammed. So his M4 was knocked. Somehow the carabiner or the quick release broke off, and so it dropped. It was going down the stairs or something. So he goes, shit, he didn't get a chance to get his weapon, so he rushes the person. They start fighting. They tackle. They go down the stairs. Lights are still off. He can't see anything. Reaches around, grabs whatever he can in his arm or hands, and just starts smashing him in the head. Lights go on. They were there to get some high-value targets. Obviously, you couldn't say who. And they come up to say, like, where's our boy? Like, where the heck is he? He's not behind us. And so they come back up, and they see him just panting, leaning up against the wall, blood all over him, not his. And turns out it was like a 12 or a 14-year-old boy.
Dang.
And
wow.
Obviously,
I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Obviously dead, smashed his head in with a rock.
God. They had to mess him up.
Oh, yeah. He was just like, just killed a kid, But the way we kind of came full circle on it is I was like, well, what did he do prior to you grabbing the rock and doing what you did? Well, he shot me. I'm like, say it again. He goes, he shot me. I'm like, he tried to kill you.
Yeah.
And did you know it was a kid? Well, no. I'm like, okay, so what did you do? I just saw a combatant. I need to survive. Exactly. Where's your fault? He kind of stops. He goes, I guess there really isn't any.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you did your job. Go home, sleep well tonight.
How do you react to that moving forward?
Oh, I broke down.
Yeah, he probably lost it.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's something he's had just tearing at him for some time.
Yeah, he went home, told his girlfriend about it, or fiance. She had no idea. She really doesn't understand what he did. That's a whole nother segment story on that one. But she does not understand the level of training and who he is as a Green Beret, being in the SOCOM community.
Yeah.
And that's something I've been trying to help him kind of work through to be able to tell her. I'm like, dude, she needs to understand what it is that you did in the military.
Yeah. I'm not a therapist, but I'd say it takes growth on both their ends. Because, unfortunately, I've also seen guys that are veterans that they act a certain way towards maybe their significant other or whatever because they went through this, and this. And it's like, okay, you did. You can't discredit that. But also, like, how can we readjust? Like, you got to be able to grow. Like, it doesn't mean that overnight you're going to change all your habits or your actions or your ways of things, right? But, you got to work on growth too, and y'all grow together.
Yep.
Bridge that understanding from their end, but also, hey, like, I'm working towards improving maybe these ways I do certain things. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like a mutual growth thing, but yeah, I think the key of what you just said is understanding.
Yeah. And she, good woman from what I could tell, good heart, loves him, but I don't think she fully grasps all the stuff that he's been through, and almost think you need to sit her down.
Yeah.
And once we've dealt with it here, some of the story, I think you need to sit her down and be like, hey, I react this way because he's very mellow, nice, this guy.
Those guys a lot of times are.
And it takes him a long time before he builds up. And I'm like, well, that buildup, that's because of what you've been through. That's why you're trying to go completely the opposite, but you've never dealt with this side.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot to confront. Well, hey, man, he's in good hands.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe it. What do you see veterans struggling with the most when they finally come to you? Like probably most consistently?
Communication.
Really?
Not being able to communicate with their spouse, what they're going through, and just shutting down.
God, do you see that often?
All the time.
Yeah. I mean, I've had so many conversations with people like here that have struggled through exactly that.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you break those walls down?
They have to learn how to face what we talked about, the shadow work. What they're shutting down to is the emotions that are associated with the memories that are so haunting them. And then they just shut it off. And then now they're void of any emotion.
Yeah.
Like they can't find joy in their kids, can't find joy in their wife, can't find joy with their wife in the bedroom anymore. It's like nothing interests them anymore. And so that's when they start searching for that dopamine hit elsewhere. Substance abuse, gambling, porn, extreme sports, or doing crazy stuff that puts themselves at risk, which I'm nothing against that. That's fine. But that other issue's still there, just waiting. It makes me think of Mrs. Doubtfire when Robin Williams is making a joke with the wife when she asks for the divorce. And he goes, well, we'll go on vacation. We'll do this. She goes, oh, but our problems will still be here when we get back. He goes, well, we'll move.
Yeah.
And then she goes, they'll just follow us. It's like you can't escape it. It's there until you deal with it.
It's there.
It's always there.
Yeah. And then and then you're able to like get to a point to where like it's still going to be there, but you're able to look at those. I said this before. You're like able to show your shadows compassion rather than try to outrun them. Yeah. Because you're never going to outrun them.
And I always bring it back to, for me, it's in my head, if they're, atheist or pagan or just agnostic, in my head, I say, whatever's done in darkness will always be brought to light. And so what is a shadow scared of? Light.
Yeah.
Because that's what gets rid of shadows.
Yep. And then, they may be like reflecting somewhere.
Yeah.
But they're there.
They're there.
But I do want to ask you a question because there's something I want to do. Have you heard of darkness retreats? All right. There's a place in Oregon I found I want to go to, but they put you in a hole pretty much. And like you're there for like 72 hours in complete darkness. And I think you get like food roped to you every once in a while. And they run you through a whole process of like, you're there for a day, diving into like the meaning behind it and all this stuff. And, and then you spend a day afterward kind of like coming out of that, right? Because, I mean, dude, 72 hours in complete darkness is terrifying to think about. Yeah. I want to do it. And for me, it's about like, it's because it is scary to think about. And it's something there's a little fear there in doing it, but it's also like, I don't know, I've learned the best lessons from like facing fears. And also like, to me, it's about like really finding that inner light. Like when that's all you could really search. There's no other option but to search for that in a different way. Does that make sense? What do you think about stuff like that? I just want your thoughts.
Well, it reminds me of like exposure response therapy, like ERT, where the only way to face like certain things that you're scared of is to actually do them.
Yeah. And
then also, for some reason, Stranger Things keeps on popping in my head, like the sensory perception. Like, because when it's all dark and you can't see anything, your senses get thrown off completely because, eventually you'll adapt to get a little bit of night vision. But if it's completely black, you can't see anything. You don't know what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's next to you. And so you have to really search and get in touch with your emotions to be able to really almost getting kind of spiritual here on this side, but like let them expand out from you so that way you can sense what's around you.
Yeah.
Since you can't see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's intense.
I can see it being really intense.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, you talk about meditation, people struggle with doing that for 10 minutes, just sitting with themselves.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I don't really struggle with sitting with myself, but sometimes calming this down and, you know, really like diving in deep in the way I want to. And so I don't know, when I force myself into a place of having no choice, you know, obviously I could like, they're not going to like keep me in there if I'm like screaming to be out, like, no, supper. I mean, you know, it's something you pay to go do, but it's something that, I don't know, man. I was just wondering your thoughts, something I like really feel called to like try out.
Who started it up? I'll have to look at it later, but like who started it up?
It goes back. It's like an ancient tradition, like Tibetan, like monk type stuff. Yeah. And there's connections there and people learned about it. And, you know, those guys do like find a lot of peace and solitude.
They've had successful, like really good successful results from it. People. Yeah.
I mean, everything I've read has been like super positive. I want to say someone kind of famous, someone pretty famous did it and like, you know, talked about it, which I don't like.
Got it in the limelight.
Not necessarily in the limelight. Someone told me about it that was actually a guest on my show. And I started diving into it and I was like, this looks so rad. And I'm like, babe, I told my wife, I was like, you can be in another hole. You want to go do it? She's like, no, that's all you. So it's going to be a solo trip.
I'm kind of on your wife's side.
Yeah, I will, you know, when I do it, I'll talk about it on the show. We'll see what I gain from it.
I can see the benefits from it. And then you'd have to be mentally at a certain place, I think, to be able to do that. Because I could see how it can possibly be detrimental.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's like when I talk about ayahuasca and maybe doing a really heavy dose of psilocybin, you know, things I've done that I've done. I used to know a guy that would always be like, you need to do this many mushrooms. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, why do you keep telling me I need to do something? And then there was a big turning point in my life where everything flipped upside down. And like, I decided to go do that on my own. Like,
I remember you telling me
it was time for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I was at a low point that I needed to really go within. And I knew that would get me there. And I had to, because when you do that, you know, you're really like, you're on along for the ride now. There's no turning back. So, and I knew that. And so I had to force myself in that place, but I was mentally ready for it. And like spiritually as well. I was like,
gotcha.
This is my, you know, and so I feel like this thing I want to go do is like, I feel kind of called to go, try that out. I'm not saying everybody should go and sit in a hole for 72 hours in complete darkness, but I'll let you know what happens.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear that.
I'll update you on it. So how do you help someone? And I'm sure you face this often, or maybe not often, but a lot of people think they're just too far gone. How do you help someone that's too far gone or thinks that they're too far gone? Because there are a lot of people that think that. And I'd say most people aren't too far gone.
No, I agree. They're not. And I have heard that multiple times. Like, I don't know how you can help me. It's a lost cause.
Yeah.
This is the way I am. This is what it is now. And typically what I do is I try to get them away from just even voicing that stuff out because, one, it's kind of a victim mentality a little bit. And understandable. I'm not saying in a bad way victim mentality. They feel like this is just what it is. So I just tell them, well, why don't you just tell me what got you here? Like, why do you think you're beyond help? Like, what's going on? Just get them talking. Just get them talking about the situation, what's going on in their head, why do they think that way? A lot of it stems from childhood, you know?
Mm-hmm. A lot of case with most people.
It is because that's what they've been told for so long.
Yeah.
Give you an example. A veteran I helped, female veteran. She's awesome. She had been told by her parents, not her dad, because she never knew her dad, but her mom, her siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, the husband that she married, they were both military at the time. She was nothing. wasn't worth anything. She was just there. She was an object. It wasn't until I showed her, are you in control of your life? She goes, I am. I'm like, really? You are? She goes, well, yeah. I'm like, then why are you letting people of your past control what you do now? Are you in control?
Yeah.
And she just stopped. She goes, no. I'm like, who has control? She goes, they do. I'm like, stop giving it to them. Take away their power.
Yeah.
And it took us a while to get to that point. It's not just instantaneous. You know, I got to know more about their background and get to know them like real intimately. And you know what I mean by intimately, just know their thoughts.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I use that term for this interaction here all the time. It is an intimate space.
Yeah.
People just take things in the wrong way all the time. But yeah, for sure. So you just had to start peeling back the layers. Yeah.
And then once I showed her that, she like, for lack of a better word, she like blossomed, changed, instantly changed. Are those people still in her life? Yes. But now she looks at them in a completely different light, and she feels like she's knowing who she is again. Like her, you know, because she dealt with a rape while in the military. She dealt with a narcissistic husband, like full-blown narcissist.
Yeah.
And just all these different things going on, but now her strength is so much better.
That's a beautiful thing. Wait, and how long have you been working with her? So it obviously takes some time. Yeah,
I've been working with her it's been almost a year.
Yeah. Would you say like thinking about it, because I'm a firm believer in like inner child work. Cause I mean, dude, most of our traumas, we don't even realize that come from like something we blocked off from like being a child.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I have somebody that, they did this therapy and they literally were able to remember a time from when they were 2.5. And I'm like, dude, how do you remember something from then? But, you know, you do enough work, you'll unlock that.
Yep.
And they're like, dude, that played a massive part in me in my 50s, you know, and how I acted towards things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, damn, man, do you do a lot of, like, work? Do you dive into, like, that far back with people?
Yeah, I try to.
Because that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, I try to. I'm careful with it, though, making sure that I know a good treatment modality, making sure that if we go back that far, am I going to be able to bring them back? You know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can dive deep. I ran into...
Re-traumatize.
Oh, yeah. You can re-traumatize people if you're not careful with how you do it. You got to be very perceptive in their emotions, watching them, body language, how are they perceiving it? And when it's virtual, it's even harder. But for instance, I had a gentleman no longer with me anymore, had to terminate just because of certain things, but he had DID, full blown, 5 different alters. Dang. And at first I thought, BS, because there's
DID.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh.
Formerly known as multiple personality disorder.
Okay. I was like, wait, DID, what the hell is that?
And it was from childhood trauma. And so he created the alters to help protect him, because he would have glimpses of what had happened to him, but they felt more like dreams. And we finally came to the realization they weren't dreams. They were actual incidents.
Actually done. Yeah.
They were actually done to him. And unfortunately, for lack of a better word, he relished in the alters, but the alters were not friends.
Oh, damn.
They were not conducive to society.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, you won't do the work. You're not working with me. I've tried. For the benefit of myself and my own self, I have to terminate. And
you can't keep pouring in that kind of energy into somebody that doesn't want to even take the steps forward.
Yeah.
But it goes back to people saying they're too far gone, coming to you saying, I'm just a lost cause. But they're obviously not if they're sitting in front of you.
Exactly.
They know they're not, but then they believe that they are. Like it's almost like a label, but they're not what that label truly means.
Well, it's kind of like when they come in and it's a couples and they say, Yeah, my wife, I don't like, if they come in, sometimes I'll have them come in individually just to get different perspectives so they will speak without the spouse there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll say, oh, like, my wife should, I'm like, or my wife or my husband, they don't want to be here. And I'm like, they came to therapy with you. Obviously, they want to be here. Why would they go to therapy with you?
Yeah.
No one does that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I have to tell people is like, it's better to be wanted than needed.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they need you in your life, you need air, you need food, you need water.
Yeah.
Your wife doesn't need you. She wants you. There's a difference.
Yeah. Because if she wants you, and she shows that by like obviously showing up here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my wife has had multiple reasons to walk. And I was like, no, she wants to. That's why I'm secure with her, is because I know that she wants to be here, because she's a strong enough woman. If she wanted to leave, she's strong. She could, like, bye. I don't need you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, props to her. I'll have to meet her one of these days.
Definitely.
Hell yeah. But before, I kind of want to bridge into your philosophy and stuff of that nature. Sure. But what would you say, you might have already said it, has been the most like impactful that you can talk about, impactful breakthrough moment in your time doing this?
I think, most impactful, definitely my wife being behind me when I did want to quit and stop, and her basically just being my cheerleader and telling me like, no, this is what you're meant to do. You have a heart for it. You love it. It's something you're passionate about. I've never seen you actually commit to something and finish it out. You're doing it, so keep going. Like, believe in what it is, and just providing the vision. She's definitely an entrepreneurial spirit. She can see things that I just don't. I just don't think like that. She gets that from her father, who's a big time entrepreneur. Like, he'll meet someone, they'll be best friends within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he'll get their number, contact, and then they'll be doing business like a week later. Dad, how do you do that?
Yeah.
That's her dad. And she got that from him. She's just, she's relentless.
So you said something powerful regarding a 10,000 piece puzzle. What was that, and where did that come from?
So that came from one of my veterans who was really lost. He was one of the guys who was like, I'm just beyond help, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm at now. Might as well just give up. Suicidal thoughts, on medication, nothing's working, insomnia, everything. And so all of a sudden I just started thinking about myself like, well, damn it, how am I going to help this guy? What am I going to do? And then I started looking at it more like, well, it's basically like a puzzle, and we're putting it back together. And so then what I thought about with him, to help him understand what I could do for him, because he was thinking about quitting therapy. He'd only been to me a couple times. I was like, dude, look, you and I are holding a box that's like 10,000 pieces. It looks daunting. It looks scary as hell. You're like, how the hell am I ever going to put this together?
Yeah.
But you're not doing it by yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it up in the air. It's going to land on the floor. I'm going to grab your hand. We're going to kneel down. And let's just start putting it back together piece by piece until the picture's formed. And then we see what's there.
Dang. Dude, that is really powerful, actually. I'm huge on like being able to visualize things. So for me personally, when someone can paint a picture in that way, like that, like you just said, like, man, that'll make it all make sense. Like, you could be explaining the same thing, but maybe more in a scientific term. And I'd be like, what? But then you paint the picture that way, and I'm like, I freaking get it. And it fires me up. So I really appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah, it worked for him because he goes, oh, okay, we could do that. Yeah. I'm like, you're not doing it alone. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I try to tell people is like, this isn't me doing the work. You're doing the work. I'm a facilitator. I'm helping you. You're doing all the work.
It highlights you, though, like your empathy, your ability to trust, why you're going to be so impactful what you do. I'd say you already are, but like, you've got a bright future ahead of you in it. And it's also showing God's ability to listen, and your ability to listen to God the way you need to and trust that. And you took the step forward and did that. So it obviously is shining light on all those things in your life. That's pretty cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to attach on to that too? Like as far as
that's a lot of
do
times.
you use stuff like that a lot?
Well, you hit on something I do is every day right before I walk in the office, I just go, okay, God, use me how you want to use me. Help me with these people. Don't make it about me. If I have stories to tell that's relatable, help me, do it, but make sure that they understand this is about them.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to relate to them, and just help me with my words as I go through this, and let's just make a difference in someone's life. Help me make their life better, so that way they don't need me. They can call me and say, no, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing good. Everything's great. I'll call you if anything pops up, and hopefully I give them the tools so that way, even though I like making money,
Yeah,
I don't want them to call me back and say, oh, this happened again and I don't know what to do. It's like, no, I want you to learn what to do.
Yeah.
So you don't need me. You don't need therapy ever again.
And that bridges into the next kind of part I want to transition into, what do you feel called to bring into the world right now? Because you're very passionate about speaking to veterans and obviously the world, and you want to help people in general, but like the veteran thing, you even said this when we were messaging, like you're tired of seeing people, take their lives.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Like we need to make some change. So what do you feel called to do?
I feel that it should be, now I know the VA does offer help, and then community health, thank God, was born in like 2016, 2017. So that way veterans couldn't get help. They could go outside the VA and get a therapist, and the VA would cover it, which is awesome. Thank God. But I'd want to see at the federal level a law that no matter how long you've served, what you did, anything that you're like having issues with, there's a federal law saying that veterans will be taken care of for the duration of their life.
Yeah.
Like they'll always be able to go back out of government's cost, not ours. Yeah. Like, which basically would be taxpayer, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's something I'll gladly pay for. I don't care. You can tax me on that.
Yeah.
And I want to see that also. What I really feel called for EMS, for first responders as well, too. Same thing. There's nothing out there. They have EAP. You usually get 5 sessions, and after that, it's out of pocket. How is that fair?
Yeah.
Like, you work for a company, and they basically, you're just a number. Once they're done, they get the new recruit coming in, makes less money, and they take care of them. It's like, but where does their mental health come in? Because those things come haunting after the fact.
Yeah.
Like after the noise, everything settles, and it's the quiet, and you're by yourself. That's when the demons come calling.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're not working or doing anymore, who are you going to go to? You can't go back to your work because you don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
They have no obligation to help you. So I think it should be federal law that any EMS workers, hospital personnel, anyone who does anything where trauma could happen, it's mandatory for that company to pay for your mental health for the rest of your life.
I 100% agree with that. It's like we talked about with Matt Watkins about like, getting out of the military. You don't work on the things while you're in. We're not taught that. No, so you're in this car and you got this car tailing you the whole time that you just got all this shit in, or it could be a trailer or whatever. Let's just say you're pulling a trailer and you're hauling ass full throttle and you're just throwing all your shit in this trailer. And then you get out or you finish the job or whatever it is, and it's like the brakes just lock. Yep. And that trailer and everything in it just comes smashing you. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I had all that shit in there. I'm just tossing it in. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then it hits you hard and you're like, and then you're stuck. Yep. And you got to pick up all those pieces. So I think that's very important. And I'd love to see a push for that as well. What do you wish every veteran or first responder understood about trauma?
I wish they understood that even though, yes, that's what we signed up for. Okay, true. You didn't sign up for the effects that it's going to have on your life. And you should be able to depend upon other people to help you through it. And you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not isolated. It's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to seek help, because it'll just make you a better person overall, because you'll be able to understand the emotions that you're having. Why did you scream at your 3-year-old just because they spilled a drink? So what? They spilled a drink. Who cared? They're 3.
Yeah.
But in the PTSD mind, no, it's maybe the shatter of the glass, you jump.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and that irritated you. It wasn't the glass or the child spilling. It was the shatter of the glass, which reminded you maybe like, oh, we got incoming. Or the loud sounds on an accident scene for a first responder, or a cop, in a shooting or something. Like, the loud sound sets you off, but you think it's a 3-year-old, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's actually the loud sound, or the sudden like hypervigilance that you get, jumping, at something. They need to understand that's not normal. Like, you shouldn't respond like that.
Yeah.
And that means you have something to deal with, and it's okay. You're not weak.
You're not weak. Is there anything you want to say regarding, therapy, mental health, veterans, first responders, all of that, before I bridge into a couple more questions and we close out?
Better to seek help early than later. Don't wait. If a call kind of bugs you a little bit and you're not, or like, maybe a certain incident in the military that's happened and it's just maybe on your mind, but you're not really sure, get help.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and go talk about it,
Yeah.
Because that's when it starts to fester. If you notice any changes in your behaviors, you notice that you're not enjoying the things that you love. Like, for instance, you have your cello here, and if you start noticing, I don't feel like doing that, and you start noticing a pattern, or you start noticing less interactions with people, or you're not talking as much, or you prefer to be alone, all those things, start paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And noticing when other people are saying, yeah, you've changed, you're kind of different, you're quieter now. Don't just brush it off.
Yeah.
Look at it and say, okay, maybe there's something going on. Well, yeah, I have noticed I've been a little more depressed lately, or I'm not as happy going to the job.
Approach it head on as soon as you can.
As soon as you can.
Yeah. The longer you wait, the harder it is to correct.
Oh, yeah, because it gets, best way to describe it, it's kind of like quick set cement as opposed to the longer acting one. Quick set, you got to get it, done. You got to lay it out real quick. Otherwise, it's just going to set right there. And then you're like, oh, damn it, my wheelbarrow's ruined and my shovel's stuck inside there. Like, what am I going to do?
Can't have that. If you could tell her right now, what would you tell your wife? What would you want her to know about her role in your transformation?
You just want me to cry again.
That said, I don't want you to cry again. I just, this episode is going to be out there forever. So it's good to put powerful words out there.
In a lot of ways, she's everything I want to be. The way she is, her character, the way she perseveres, how strong she is. And I just admire the shit out of her.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And I'm thank you for sharing that. She inspires you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I could say the same, something very similar along those lines about my wife, man. So that hits me deep because I feel you there. Yeah. So that's, hey, summer, right?
Summer.
Shout out to Summer. Hey, that's good stuff. Before I ask you this final question, you talk about your kids, your family. I briefly, because I want to go into you have your kids that you and your wife had, but you also are a foster parent.
Yep.
Wish we had more time because I want to dive into this stuff too, and I'm big on like the family talks. What was that experience like? Becoming a foster parent.
It was really cool. It was different. All the classes, everything you had to do and everything. But the way it started would be a better way to go. My daughter came home from a youth group from church. And she goes, well, you guys are probably going to say no, but I have something I want to talk to you about. Okay. She goes, well, we have so much. We always do. We always have more than enough for us. And you guys have always taken care of and spoiled us. But there's so many kids out there that have nothing.
How old's your daughter, by the way?
17 now.
That's cool. I mean, it's really cool for her to come home and say.
She said that when she was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said, why don't we like try to help out other kids and like, do foster or maybe adoption or something? Because we can do that. Because we have so much and there's really no excuse why we shouldn't do that. And I kind of stopped by looking at my wife and I'm like, how do you battle that?
Yeah.
I'm like, can't argue against that.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I had talked about it before, but not seriously. And then we did and found out the process, went through the process. And then within, we got Juju a couple weeks later. And I get home from work and there's this cute little 15-month-old baby walking around, cute as heck, funny, and definitely all boy. He is all boy.
Yeah.
Saw him, and then we just started, the process of, doing what we're supposed to do, bringing him to parent meetings and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually the parents weren't meeting with us or missing appointments. And then Summer, like I said, why I admire about her, keeping track of every single incident, all the phone calls, everything.
Yeah.
And then that was presented in court and everything. And basically the parents were probably, we don't know for sure, but the last court date, it was probably going to be a termination or like not an extension, like 6 more months, take the classes, do what you need to do. And the biological mom came out and said, I terminated rights. He's yours.
Dang. What did that feel like? What was that? And you're like, holy shit. Like I'm this kid's parent now.
Yeah. It was the one thing I do when I overlook at Judah is I always say, thank God we have him. And this is not a knock on, parents who struggle or anything like that. It's going to sound bad, but it's not meant to be. But I can only imagine the life he would have had as opposed to the life he does have.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. He's been blessed with a good life,
Yep.
And I mean, that's what I believe children deserve.
Yep.
I mean, they don't ask for much,
No.
like, and at the end of the day, like y'all give them love,
Oh, yeah.
the things that truly matter.
Yep. And his favorite person is my daughter. That's his person.
Well, she kind of like, and it's cool because your daughter, man, coming from a 15-year-old, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like it says a lot about you guys and your marriage and y'all's example. Your daughter at 15 wanted to do something selfless like that, and that says a lot about y'all. And I wanted to touch on this, like legacy, man. Like I think, your wife, from what you say about her, what you're doing, it's powerful stuff because I'm big on legacy and what I pass on to my daughter, and not necessarily like materially, but like the lessons I pass on, how I live my life and structure it and all these different things. Like that's what's going to impact her when I'm gone.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, I see like a lot of light there. And I just wanted to say that, man. I'm like freaking proud of you, Ken.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. And thanks for getting a little emotional. It's okay. I'll do it. I've done it quite a few times on here. So
that's the drawback of EMDR. Once you do that, you open up the floodgates.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Final question, Ken. What is your relentless pursuit?
My relentless pursuit is to be the best father, husband, and then therapist is definitely in there, but basically the best example that I could be to everyone that I interact with. So that way they walk away feeling like they've gained something from the interaction rather than that they've lost something.
Yeah.
And it's not just because, not for notoriety or like, oh, I want, anything faint, nothing like that. Just, I want people to be happy that they've met me or I came into their life.
Yeah. There's nothing. Yeah. I don't, there's notoriety, none of that even. Yeah. I know what you're saying, man. Yeah. You want to make a positive impact.
I want to make a positive impact and, to steal from if I'm gonna say his name right, Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I can never say his name right.
Mahatma, yeah, something like that.
You know, be the change you want to see in the world, like what he says.
Yeah.
I think I got the phrase right. But that's why, you know, be the person. Be the person that actually makes a difference. Like, you know, it's like you wake up in the morning, and I can actually say this now, is like, have I done anything in this life that's made myself better and made others' lives better? I'm like, yeah, I have.
Hell yeah.
I've changed people's lives. Not on my doing. I think it's, you know, God working through me.
Yeah.
But people are happier. Our first Operation Headshot thing, I was giving a speech about PTSD. Of course, got emotional because I do. And there was a guy who showed up late. He got about halfway through the talk, heard where I was, he basically heard half of the talk, but it was enough, and it stopped him from committing suicide that night.
Powerful shit.
Yeah. And that's when Matt always brings that one up. He's like, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, man. That's nuts, man. Hell yeah. Well, thank you for that answer, man. And I think you're on that path. You're relentlessly pursuing every bit of that. So
I'm trying.
Ken, where can everybody find you?
So my website is thetraumaguru.net, and my office is located in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I can do virtual, which means if you're out of state, that's fine. Kind of a loophole with COVID and everything for virtual.
Yeah.
So if you want to do virtual with me, we can do that. But traumaguru.net.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, please go check him out. Ken, thank you so much for coming in. Is there anything else you got to say?
Nope, I'm good, brother.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate your time. You can move this out of the way. I'm going to shake your hand. All right, guys. Until next time. This isn't just a podcast. This is my life's work. In a world full of noise, debate, filters, and artificial content, this platform is real. It's raw. It's human. Every episode, we dive deep into stories that matter. Pain, purpose, transformation. We're here to give people a voice, speak truth, and connect through something deeper than algorithms. We've already reached over 20 million views across all platforms, with an audience that is loyal, engaged, and passionate about this show because it speaks to the soul. If your business or brand believes in authenticity, if you value marketing through something that reflects your values and aligns with real impact, then this is your opportunity. Sponsorship isn't just support, it's fuel. It's how I keep this mission alive. It's how I continue to shine light on powerful, untold stories that need to be heard. If you want to reach people, not just through metrics, but through their hearts, their minds, and purpose, let's partner. Let's build something that matters.